can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I just want to put this thing out on Facebook. So,
hi, Rita.
She's here.
I can see Rita here.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi.
Am I on mute? No, I'm not. Okay. Hi.
Hi, Uncle Femi. I'm just seeing you. That's my uncle from America.
Oh, hi, Uncle. Wow, this is so. Oh, hi, Uncle. Okay, guys. So, Beams, let me do the introduction. Okay. So, hello, everybody. My name is Ibinabo Enebi, and welcome to this special edition of EB Speaks. And by the way, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the house, and to all the grandmothers and all the aunts, all the uncles, fathers, brothers, sisters, and everyone who had to step into the role of playing the role of a mother in the life of a child. So happy Mother's Day to all of you. So Mother's Day is not just for well, moms, it's for all moms, okay?
Yes.
So today is a very special day for me because today I choose to celebrate my friend, and a friend of mine we've known for like
over 20 years now.
And I've known her to be a very intelligent, brilliant, very outspoken, forthright, and she's the kind of person that if you want to hear the truth, she tells you the truth that nobody else tells you. She tells you the truth that they tell you at home. She tells you the home truth. And she just happens to be a pretty girl who lost her husband just a few years ago. And I have a website called goshopforbaby.com. I'm a blogger as well. And just yesterday I have an article that a young boy called Collins Omerua wrote about his mother. And his mother was also a widow as well. So it was like a mini autobiography of himself and how his mother had to go through hell and high waters to send him through school. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have my friend, Abimbola Bawo Benjamin. Girl!
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really honored.
Okay. So girl. We have a lot of people that I hear.
Yeah.
That have joined us to listen to us talk.
Yeah.
And I know that today's edition is going to be very, very interesting in the sense that you're going to speak the truth the way it is. You're going to be very honest and very open. And one thing I'm going to say to you, Beams, is that if you don't feel comfortable about talking about anything, you don't have to.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay? So you don't have to say, yeah. But then, but at the end of the day, I felt, and I think, and I've told you that several times, that your life is an inspiration, and that people would have to listen to your story and aspire to be more.
Yeah.
So, girl, tell us about yourself.
Okay, like you all know now, I'm Abimbola Benjamin. I used to be Abimbola Sonny. I'll be 51 this year. Do I look 51? No. Anyway, I met my late husband when I was turning 18. No, 19. I was 18 turning 19. And I actually met him on Awolowo Road in Ikoyi. I was going to see a friend who stayed not just too far from us. So we met on Awolowo Road. And we got married 3 days before my 21st birthday. So I'm a mom of 4 gorgeous kids. Then, unfortunately, I got widowed 2 months before I turned 44. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm involved in a lot of businesses, from property to education to importation to selling of jewelry. I even actually want to start exportation now before the year runs out, by God's grace. And I mentor people as well, especially widows and single parents. I mentor married women at times if they come to me for advice. You know, I've been in the business. I was in the business for about 20 years, so I would say I have a lot of experience in that expertise. So that's, in a nutshell, all about me.
Okay, so girl, you lost your husband almost 7 years ago this August.
Yes.
And the one thing I want to ask you is this.
Yeah.
On that day when it happened, what was your immediate reaction?
Oh my God. I was in total shock. You know, someone that wasn't ill, he actually went to work a day before, which was a Friday. You understand? And he went, you know, he brought home asun. That's my favorite for me, that Friday night. I couldn't eat it because it was quite late. Then Saturday morning, had a procedure called abdominal hernia. So it was supposed to be a 30-minute procedure. So he was just going to stay there for about, say, 2 hours, then we'll go back home. Then Saturday morning, he woke up normally. He was doing his paperwork from work, office work. And I said, okay, let me just rush to eat fruit and fiber breakfast, fruit and fiber it was. And as I was eating, he was not even hurrying that he's finished, like, we should go, we should go, we should go. Then we went downstairs. I saw him give the cook money, that the cook should go to the market to cook veg soup, that he wanted to eat it when he comes back from where he was going to. And we hopped into the car, and he was one that drove. We even spoke about Ebola, you know, 2014. It was Ebola at that time. And we spoke about Ebola, and we got to the hospital. So when we now got to the hospital, you know, he was that calm person, very quiet and shy. So I'm even the outspoken one. So I was even asking the doctors, how far with his, have you taken his blood pressure? They said they took it 3 times. He didn't even have hypertension or anything, or any underlying illness, because, you know, he had this nonchalant attitude about life. Even if heaven was falling, he would just be quiet. I'll be the one that will be so agitated. How come you are quiet like this? So he was that kind of person, you know, and they said everything was okay. The only thing I noticed was that he was scared. So, you know, he told me that he's scared though. And, you know, we women are the ones that go for CS and, you know, things like that, that we're used to hospital. I said, don't worry, to be okay. And he took off his clothes. They gave him a robe, you know. So I folded his clothes well, and it was a private room, and they had consultants coming from Louth. And I just said, see you later, see you soon. He just turned back and he didn't answer me, you know. And funny enough, it was a 30 minutes procedure. The doctors came in and told me that it was successful, and that they just wanted him to rest a bit, and that they will wheel him into the room later. That was about 10:30 in the morning. Then about 12, I didn't see anybody. I said, okay, let me just have a quick nap. So I slept on that bed. About 1 o'clock, I now saw the doctors coming with my pastor. What's happening here? So they now said, they came to tell me that they wanted that it was success. I said, yes. And I said, what happened? They were looking at me. I now said, so he's dead. Because for them to bring my passport, there was something wrong somewhere. And they just nodded. The next thing that came out of my mouth was, my life is finished. As in, I didn't even know where to start from. You know, I had flashbacks. How would that be possible? So that was how it happened. I was just in shock. I was numb for a long time.
My goodness.
I even had that, I didn't know, I wasn't conscious of myself, that, you know, when they were discussing, I left the hospital and I ran into the road. So they held me, as in, you know. So that was just it.
So you were like shocked and confused. You were like,
I was numb. I was numb. I didn't know what to do again. You know?
Okay.
Probably I was dreaming or I was in a trance. Could this be true? Son, I just saw less than 5 hours. You know? So that was what happened.
Okay, so at that time when it happened, what were your fears? What were your fears, your challenges, your battles?
I told you that I just uttered my life was just finished because I was a trophy wife. My husband didn't want me to do anything. If I did one business, he would tell me, I don't want my wife to suffer. You are not doing that business again. If I go to the kitchen, why did I employ 2 cooks? Don't enter that kitchen. He didn't want me to do he didn't want me to carry anything. You know? So the breadwinner is no more. And I have 4 kids with me. My first was 19, was actually going into university. In fact, the day the father died was the day her letter of admission came in from the UK. Do you understand? And the last one was even barely 4. He was 4 a week before, on the 28th of July, a week before his death, about a week, roughly a week. And I remember him taking them out to Cold Stone and Domino's for ice cream and things like that. I had to stay in the house because I was preparing for my grandma's burial. In fact, a lot of people that saw him, the last time they saw him was on my grandma's burial. You know, that was about the 30th or something. So I had 2 kids in London and I had 2 kids in Nigeria. And I didn't even know how to start. The challenges came though, single parenting. Their dad was quiet, but very firm. You know, he never used to talk, but once he said, opened his mouth, they would sit up. I was that shouty one, but I had no action. Honestly, because they even knew me. They just, once I shout like this, my body is calm. They will know how to maneuver and everything. So at the end of the day, I had to combine both. I had to wake up. That's just the word. I had to combine, both. Being firm, being shouty, and being calm.
Okay. So, Beams, how then did his family react when he died?
Hey, don't let me go there, but I will go there briefly. Family wahala. Number 1, the first question was, why didn't I tell them that he was going for an operation? See me see wahala. Oh. Do you know he was in the hospital and his sister called and he didn't tell the sister? I felt he wanted to keep it private. So why should I be the one? And it was no big deal. Henna is no big deal. You go and come and the next, in fact, before he went into the theater, he was telling me he wanted to follow me to one place on Monday, the following Monday. And I was like, I beg, is it everywhere you will follow me to? You know? So he had plans to go back to work on Monday. So they said, number 1, I was dating the doctor. So me and doctor carried knife to butcher him. Thank God I didn't enter theater. Like I killed him, Sha. So it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny.
So, in spite of the fact that you lost your husband, there was the accusation that you also killed him.
Yes, now. They didn't allow me to mourn. It was okay. He died on a Saturday. I called people. The first person I called was my late dad. And my late dad was one that broke the news to my mom. They were actually at a function. I even had my mom went hysterical. Then I called some of his friends, but I didn't want to call the sister. I expected that, okay, one of his friends would tell the sister. You understand? So they came on Sunday, they sat down, they commiserated with me. That was Sunday. Then Monday, they started calling. They suspect foul play. I'm like, thank God, though, this person did not pass at home. He passed in the hospital on the theater table. So, there were accusations that I was the one that killed him for no reason. I don't know. So, that has strained our relationship, Sha.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what about your friends? How did your friends react when he died?
A lot of people cried. Friends. Somebody like you and some other people, you guys cried because you felt I wasn't going to survive it. Because we were very close. So I have friends that were with me from day one. Rita, IB, Titi, a lot of people have been with me from day one. You are one of them. And I say thank you.
Thank you.
And I had friends who started behaving funny. And me, God has given me a gift of discernment. You behave funny, I cut you off with scissors. I have my scissors. I have my personal scissors. See, my uncle is looking at me like, this Omo Buruku, this guy. My uncle is looking, I cut them off like this with scissors because, I don't just want, a lot of gossip here and there. There were a lot of side talks. Let me give you an instance. A friend of mine called me. She was my friend. I won't say she's my friend. She called me and one mind said I shouldn't pick up that call. That was when it just happened. Maybe a month or two. And she called, that was the days of BlackBerry. And she called me again. A mind now told me to pick it up. And she asked me, she had called earlier, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yes, my phone was in the bag. I lied. My phone was beside me. It wasn't in the bag. That my phone was in the bag, blah, 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 blah. Do you know the next thing? She actually typed a chat. She wanted to forward it to somebody and forwarded it to me about how she called me and what I said. And I said, who are you forwarding my messages to? And she didn't have any reasonable answer for that. I cut her off. She sent people to me, and me, I've told people, I'm not God. I don't give second chances. Me, I am not God. So I just cut her off. So a lot of things have happened like that. A lot of friends have gone like that. That I just, withdraw.
So you had experiences of betrayals.
A lot of betrayals. A lot of backbiting.
And a lot of friends just left because they couldn't bear.
Probably because they thought that maybe I'll be a burden to them. Or maybe they thought I would snatch their husband. It's true. It's true now. They thought I was there. So I just had to,
Just had to, yeah. Okay, so this is serious.
It's serious.
Did this experience harden you? Because I felt that, that you became a lot stronger.
I won't say hardened. I became more aggressive.
Okay.
I became more outspoken. I don't tolerate, I still don't. I don't tolerate from any rubbish from anybody. And people will ask me and tell me, Abimbola, you weren't like this before, blah, blah, blah. I said, in 2014, when my husband died, I went through the school of life. So that was what happened. I won't say hardened like that, but I just changed. I had a 360 degrees water because, you know, they look down on widows. I said my own wasn't going to be like that.
When you say that they look down on widows, exactly what do you mean?
Oh my God. You know, okay, that brings us to the stereotype, isn't it?
Yeah, let's talk about it, yeah.
There is a particular stereotype that they expect from widows. Society they have some ideas about widows. Most of the time, they are negative stereotypes. The assumption is that widows should always mourn 24/7, should wear a melancholic face. It is disrespectful to the dead for the widows to have fun, but it is okay for a widower to do whatever he likes. In fact, they will even tell him to go and get a wife. The widows are expected to be vulnerable. They present them as a threat to friends, like what I said earlier, that they feel that will snatch their husband. You understand? So they present them as a threat to friends and families, you know, in marriages. And most of this comes from women biting women since 1900, backbiting since 1900. Women, men don't have problem, but it's these women. They run you down, they backbite you to an extent that you want to start having this kind of low self-esteem. But I decided that mine isn't gonna be like that.
Okay, Beams, we're going to talk more about the stereotyping and stigmatization, but I want to build it up before we get to that point. Okay. So another thing I want to ask you is, so how are you adjusting to the life of well, I don't want to say widowhood, okay? I want to say, how do you adjust to the life of being alone since after your husband died?
I would rather say, okay, my late husband is gone and isn't coming back. That's the reality. You understand? That's a bitter truth. It's my choice to face that reality or be slothful.
Okay.
So it is a choice to be upright and doing or fall into depression. So I would have to adjust positively for the sake of my children. I just have to, I got no choice.
Okay. So, Beams, what would you have done differently? Like you of course it's going to be 7 years soon.
Yeah.
So what would you have done? Like now there's benefit of hindsight, and this is because you see your experience is like content, right? And it is, and you know, like just today I was I had a speaking engagement. I had to minister in the Trinity House London church. And we talked about God having a purpose for your life. And we talked about, you know, that your life is a content but that God uses to showcase his glory.
Yeah, true.
So what are the things that, because people are actually just listening and learning, because nobody knows when this kind of thing is going to happen to the person.
Exactly.
And, you know, because it is a reality that every woman would have to go through. So, and every day you learn. So what are the things that you would say, if I'd known, I would have done it this way rather than that way?
My dear, do you want to know the truth?
Yeah.
I have no regrets whatsoever.
Okay.
What I've done in 6.5 years. I have no regrets for the good. I have no regrets for the bad. And I have no regrets for the ugly. If no one commends me, I'll commend myself. So that's just it.
Very good. Okay. So, and another question I was going to ask you is, how did your husband's death impact on the children? Because
Oh my
I
God.
knew that the children were very close to
Very
him.
close.
And just that he was dead, for me, what touched me most, I remember your first daughter and, you know, your son, and like, oh, goodness gracious, how did it impact on them?
Oh my God. It affected them a lot, especially the first two. That's Oma Omi, that'll be 27 this year, and Tosa, that'll be 22 this year. You know, they were very close, very, very close. You know, it was so difficult to break the news. Rita is here. I can see Rita. Tosa was with Rita. They went for a holiday in Scotland or something, and they couldn't break the news to them. It took some days before in fact, they were even WhatsApping their dad's phone, and I was the one replying when he was gone. I couldn't tell them. I had to lie to them. You know, I had to lie to them when they called, when they called in. My first daughter was the closest. She was really sad for a long time. In fact, she had to go for counseling when she was in uni. It was really very bad. Then my second has a bubbly nature like me. So she talked her way through it for closure. Then Feromi, my third. You know, she and her brother slept on the same bed with their dad. I just gave them that, you know, I sleep in my own room, and they just decided that, okay, let them sleep together. So that morning he woke up. He woke up from their side to go to the hospital. They were still sleeping. She, you know, she's her dad's carbon copy, inside out, in the way she walks, in the way she speaks, so calm in nature. And she specifically told me, because I was so worried that she wasn't showing any sign. There was no sign whatsoever. Her face was just blank. She was 4 months into being 11. It was before her 11th birthday. And she told me she didn't want to talk about it. And I left her in her own way. You know, she saw how her dad's family treated us badly when they locked us out of the funeral service. That was when we went to Warri. They locked my children and I out. It took the intervention of Pastor Ayorishe Jafo to allow us enter during the final prayer, the last prayer. That time they had just opened the coffin for them to do the final respect. So this was someone I was married to for 20 years. So, you know, she saw all those ones. So she just decided to heal. In fact, this past Thursday, she told me to send some of her daddy's pictures. And I didn't ask her any question. I said, okay. Because I was busy, I couldn't. This morning again, she asked me to. So I had to take out time. I just sent those pictures. I'll send you the video of what she made out. She animated her father's face, her father moving his face and opening his mouth and everything. And it looked so real. I'll send you.
She wanted daddy. She missed him.
Yes, she missed him. Then my boy, let me talk to you about Sheisa. You know, he was young. He was barely 4 years old. But surprisingly, he remembered every moment they spent together. You know, unknown to my husband's family, I sent a photographer to the funeral. So he took pictures from beginning to the end, and I made him make a photo book. So when he was much younger, the photo book was his best book. He would tell me, Mommy, this album is my best book. He would bring that book to me and open the page where they did the daddy's lying in state. And he would kiss that picture and everything. I would just smile. There was even one time he snuck that book out to his teacher to school. And I wasn't aware of that when he was in primary school. And he told the teacher that, can you imagine my father lying like that? I love my dad so much. This is my best book. The teacher could not handle it. He had to give it to Regina, head of school then. You know, so as of now, he has fond memories of his father. He tells me what they used to do together. Surprisingly, he was so young, but he remembered everything. One time I went to check on the kids in London, and he told me that, can you imagine the time when you went to London and daddy did not even realize that it was a Muslim holiday and took him to school. And when they now got to school, they didn't see anybody. And they now called me. So, I'm so shocked at his memory. He still remembers things. He's a gentle boy most of the time. I was so scared of training him all alone, but he's turned out to be a good boy, although he's growing by the minutes. And I can see that he has a little bit of rebellion in him. A little bit, and it's part of growing up. So he's shy as well, just like the dad. So, we're taking it as the day goes.
Okay, Beams, I want to ask you about the children again, because I know that I have a friend of mine who lost his wife. And the children, right, were not talking. Do you think that that there's any provisions like in our culture, for children to be counseled and stuff like that? Because in the article that I released just yesterday, this young boy also lost his father.
Yeah.
And the boy was crying so much that, his uncle threatened to flog him if he didn't stop. I mean, when I read that part, I just couldn't believe that a child is mourning and that we do not have the system, as a society to counsel or encourage young children. We don't have, is it?
We don't have. I'm telling you, my husband died and they were telling me, did they even allow me, the wife, to mourn? They are talking about children. Thank God that they were not orphans. They would have suffered. They don't care. There's no provision for that. I told you, mommy went for counseling when she was in university. You understand? I was already prepared to counsel my kids through it, to talk them through it. But our culture does not have that kind of system.
So, okay, go on.
If you're abroad, will somebody die and one white person will tell you that you are the one that killed your wife, or you are the one that killed your husband? So it's on a different ball game here.
So from what I understand, what you're saying to me is that once a man dies, they just change.
360. We didn't have problems though. We didn't have problems at all. 360, I'm like, I actually thought that we were watching Nollywood film. I'm telling you, there was one time, a week after, they said they were coming, they were coming from the village in Delta State. And like 12 of them filed into my sitting room. My mom was seated and some other members of the family. And you won't believe that 10 of them I never met before. And they were busy looking at the ceiling, busy looking outside, going around. I don't know say Bawo build this kind of place. So, we just see and disappear for Suilere. I don't know say he build this kind of place. For what now? They sat down. They hadn't buried my husband. My husband was still in the mortuary. They sat down. They brought a book out and a pen. We want to ask you what happened to our brother. And they were writing it down as I was saying it. A friend of mine that's from Delta State went into another sitting room and sent me a text that you have to perform drama here now to scatter these people. That I know these people. Funny enough, the 9th of August was the day the father died. The father died 30 years ago that day, 9th of August. So she had seen everything all. She sent me a text from another sitting in the same house. Abimbola, abeg, if you like yourself, scatter their so-called meeting. I didn't want to do anything. She just started saying, scatter it. Do you know what I did? In fact, my mom was shaking. I told my mom, I said, don't worry, it's demonstration. All this one, physics. No, just calm down. I just stood up, jumped up, fell on the floor, and started running outside. They said, where was I going to? I said, I'm going to the mortuary. That's how they started fighting each other. They faced each other like this. 6 years. That's how they come out from my house too. I'm telling you, like Nollywood film.
Bimbo, let me just take some comments that have been written here. Okay. Let me just read these comments. Shola says, you have been a strong woman since the passing of Bawo. I marvel at how you just hit the ground running with training the children. May they be for signs and wonders. Keep pushing, God's got your back. Well done, Abimbola. And Theodora Zinge, hello. Theodora says, unbelievable. Now, wow.
That's life.
Now, wow.
That's life.
Okay. So, Beams, we talked about the stigmatization. We talked about stigmatization of widows. We talked about them, you know, you said the stereotyping. So people expect that if your husband has died, you must be sad.
You must be sad, though. You know, when my husband passed, for 1 year, I didn't go anywhere. Then I just realized that I was falling into depression. Okay, October 1st, 2014, he was in the mortuary, and that was his 54th birthday.
Okay.
My dad fell into depression, and my mom had to rush back to Ibadan. I was the only one. They hadn't buried him yet. They buried him like 10 days after that. I was the only one. I don't know whether I've told you this. Do you know from October 1st was his birthday, October 1st
was your birthday, and then the wedding
anniversary. Do you know that I cried from 30th of September? My mom was not around till 5th of October, a day after my birthday. And I tried holding my tears for where, stop. So, they just feel, I now made up my mind. I just said, if care is not taken, I will fall into depression, serious one. I was already falling into depression anyway. Then after a year, I had to write out things of what I wanted to do. I just had to keep busy. Then I started going to parties. A year after, we had the year, 1 year anniversary.
Anniversary, I remember.
Yes. And people started talking. Some people will see me and say, are you sure you are a widow? I beg you, how widow they take behave? How do they take dress? What's the way of mannerism of a widow? So if care is not taken, a widow has to take care of themselves, because you will fall into that depression. A lot of people have gone a year, 2 years after their husband, leaving their children.
Okay.
So,
yeah, but this is it's terrible. But then I want to ask you another question about the stigmas. So we've talked about stereotypes. So stereotypes is like, so a widow shouldn't be happy. A widow should always be sad. She should not be happy and all of that. What about
you should not be happy.
Yes. So what about the stigma? Stigma.
You see, these are Nigerian. We're very wicked, though. Widows, they don't. I would say some parts of the country, once the breadwinner dies, it's the wife that killed anyway, like we have said. You understand? Let me give you an instance. My cousin-in-law's brother. This happened to my cousin-in-law's brother. He died. In this same worry, this January. October last year, he had kidney problem. This my cousin-in-law is in Canada. He had kidney problem. It was this my cousin-in-law that was sending him dialysis money. And he died.
The one that was sending money to the one in...
No, the one they were sending money to in Warri that had kidney problem eventually now died. And typical of all these people, it was the brother that was telling me this, so that see what's waiting family. This Bawo family too. Now Bawo family and they talk so. They now said, so he now called me because I'm close to him, you know, one of the people I'm close to. So he now called and said, sister, see me see wahala. I said, waiting happen. He said, that's how they went to meet. After this man had died, when they were telling people that this man has kidney problem, he needs money for dialysis, they did not put mouth, they did not contribute anything. It was this guy that was sending money. They now came to because they said he built one small house in Warri. They now came to meet his wife to tell the wife that anyway, they've consulted an oracle that why did she allow the husband, the late husband, sleep with her during menstruation? that was what caused the death. Oh. That why did she allow? They said the woman was just looking like this. That she had to call them. Oh, they should leave this woman alone. This woman did not kill my brother. Nami get brother. My brother died of kidney problem. So I don't know where you got oracle from that somebody is sleeping with somebody during menstruation. That is the cause of the death. So that is what we're. So you will not allow this poor widow to mourn. You know, in our society, widows are expected to have a low social status.
The way you're saying it is making me laugh. It's very serious.
I'm telling you the truth. But it will not happen to you in your young age.
Amen.
They expect them to be horrible looking. Let them wear a different top and a different skirt.
Bibo, now let me just take this comment from Facebook. Someone says, this is Ijo, a piece Onyebuchi says, it's really terrible how widows are looked at culturally, but I think it depends on family, and for the woman to be strong as you did, I applaud your courage in the face of adversity. And Ayaba Longjaw says, this is ridiculous. Ijoma looks like this and like, huh? She's like, poor mentality to link death to menstruation.
Hey. Anyway, they're expected to die a social death, as in nothing should happen for them again. Let me give you another example. You know, these are my personal experience.
Yeah.
My personal experiences, rather. If my husband's friend, you know, barely a year after my husband died, the daughter turned 10. So the same age group with my third daughter then. So he now invited, it was even the wife that invited us that we should come, blah, blah, blah. So we now went for that birthday. I went with them, with Feromi and Sheisa. And I just noticed that, you know, this was someone that we used to go to parties together, and the way they looked, you know, they looked up to my husband. You know, he was the local champion. Among them.
Victoria, tell me.
They looked up to him as in he used to do things for them. I'm telling you. And I noticed that they now had another place, a VVIP room like that. Then the children's room were there. They were now calling all the parents in. Do you know they left me there? They left me with the children. Do you know I looked right and looked left? I just told my nanny. I said, stay with these children because I want them to have fun. I just left. I got home, I cried hell. I sat down. That was the day I sat down. And I wrote things that I wanted to be. I became more outspoken. I became very aggressive. If you upset me or, you know, I will call you out instantly.
No, Bims, I want to get this straight, right? So this party you went to, right? They were your friends. Your husband was their egbon.
You know that, you know that kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah. And then you go for a party, and then they have a special VIP section, section rather, and then they now call all the other parents and women.
All the other, you know.
The people that have husbands.
The people that have husbands, so now my husband died, not this, I don't keep person, I don't keep person. Now my husband died, I don't know what's happened. Meanwhile, they had the wife had a birthday like the year before that my husband was present. They brought my husband and I to the front. As husband don't die now, they just left me with the children. And I'm a very sensitive person. I just stood up. I left. I told my nanny to stay with the children.
Bimbo, who does the stereotyping more? Is it men? Is it women?
Women. Biting women since 1900. Men don't have time. Is this women? I'm telling you. We don't like each other. Even a friend of mine in the East said that, she witnessed something that she was wondering, that they were shaving this woman's hair. And it was the woman that said, sit down. Now you're so shakara you do when your husband is alive. Now so shakara you do. Sit down, see him mouth. They go the greet and that time you go they do yanga. That she witnessed it, she couldn't believe it. So it's women backbiting women now. We are worst enemies.
Okay, I'll just read this comment that Chizoba, hi, Chizoba Ainika. Chizoba says, you're indeed a strong woman. And Tayo Onifade says, utterly absurd. And Shola says, women, we are our own worst enemy.
Yes, true.
My goodness gracious me. And Yodara says, what kind of behavior was that? What explanation did they give? I am confused for you. Thank God.
Do you know that I caused them? I use scissors. I have my personal scissors for everybody. I use it to cut them off. They were calling me afterwards to thank me that this one about the gift and everything like that. Me, I not pick till tomorrow.
Okay. So Bima, let me read this. So they said, Theodora Azinge says, what kind of behavior was that? What explanation did they give? I am confused. Poor you. Thank God you can talk about it. God is so faithful. And Busari Dauda says, I feel seriously pained the ignoble and obnoxious prejudice against widows in our society today still exists in our culture. It hurts to know that we have such a sore history of treating widows. They lost their husbands. They are wounded and wounded. And Messi Edu says, did you bother to ask your friend why you were not invited into the VIP section?
It's obvious now. Am I a VIP? I'm not a VIP now. I won't ask such questions. Me, I cut them off. I cut them off.
So the next question I'm going to ask you is this, because you see, this is something that I'm sure some women are also watching that have widowed themselves. What are the key survival strategies any widow must know?
Number one is to believe in God. Have confidence in your God. Hold on to your God. Believe that He's the only one that will do whatever He will do. If you depend on human beings, oh my God, they will disappoint you. After that, strategize yourself. Plan your next move. Be very discreet about it. Everybody doesn't have to know your plan. Finally, have a focus. Be a go-getter and make sure you achieve your aim.
Okay. There's something that you said that even resonates, that even I think that every woman ought to do, everybody, woman, man, everybody ought to do. And that is the fact that you said you sat down after the VIP
Incident.
after the VIP incident.
They put me for economy. They carry some people go first class.
Okay. So you sat down, right? And then you got a piece of paper. And
piece of paper and pen.
And pen. Was it red or was it black? Which one did you use?
I did, because I was crying, my eyes were like this. I didn't remember.
Okay. So
I carried pen and paper.
Okay. And then you wrote down what you wanted.
Yes.
You painted a picture of the person you wanted to become.
Yes.
And the future you wanted to create for yourself. That's what you did.
Yeah.
So what did writing it down do for you? Right? When you wrote it down, how did it help you mentally?
I focused on whatever I wrote down. I never deviated. I never got distracted. It's all about focus. I've always been a go-getter anyway. So, nothing was going to distract me. I knew what I wanted. And I promised my children, everything I do is for my children. When their dad died and they told me, Mommy, I hope, what's going to happen to our school and everything. And I made a promise to them. I told them that you will never feel you don't have a dad. And I've kept up to that promise. To God be the glory. I told them, you will never feel. You will even be better than some of your classmates that have both dad and mom. You will never feel you have a dad.
My goodness. Beams, I'll take this another something someone wrote here. The person said, Busari Daudu says, the onerous task of fending for the family, being a single parent of the kids, is something a young and unprepared widow was not ready to handle. So how did you cope with it? So they're saying that, of course, you said that your husband, you were a trophy wife. I knew him.
Oh, a trophy wife, yeah.
Yes, he looked after you. He was very calm. As a matter of fact, why the thing even touched me the most was that Sonia and I were in your house.
Yes. Like 2 months before.
Yeah, and then what happened, Beams? We talked, I remember we talked a week. You were telling me something which was so funny, and I was like, my friend, will kill me, right? Mm-hmm. And I hadn't heard from you for a while. I hadn't heard from you like in 3 weeks or thereabouts. And I'm like, this guy never hear from you. So I shall now text you. And then you told me, Ross, don't lie. And I'm like, eh? And I was crying. So this person wants to know that, how did you cope? How? Because, some people are still joining, so they may not have heard. So
yes, they're just joining.
Yes.
Like I said earlier, I had no choice but to cope for my children. Because I won't lie to you, my children watch me a lot. They're very sensitive beings. So I had the focus. I didn't want to I knew what I wanted. I didn't want coping in as in what? Emotionally,
mentally, financially.
I had my low moments. I still have my low moments once in a while, not as much anyway, like before.
Yeah, so it gets better.
It gets better. And I said that 2 months into Bawo's death, in October, I cried, I almost died. And I was falling into depression. And I said, no way. I'm not going to leave.
I came to the house then. I came to the house, I think, in the...
Yes. I said I wasn't going to. And I said, I'll keep my best self busy. People were wondering why I used to go to parties. Probably they thought I was going to look for men. Where are the men, self? I was going to enjoy myself and meet people and come back home. You understand? Let me even give you one gist. One person walked to me at a party. A friend of mine too, my classmates when I was in uni just. A friend of mine, and said, how are you? This one, the normal greetings. And said, my sister, my senior sister, and see me. My senior sister said I should tell you to be wary of all these men, that they will come and eat your money, they will do this one, they will do that one. I let her finish. I said, please tell Auntie that she shouldn't worry. You know why? Me self before one night. Man, when say he won't eat my money, I don't chop her raw. I don't sell the house. No man can eat my money. Me too, I am a 419.
Big boy, you know me 419 because I know you.
I know you. No, I'm too smart. Number one, I cannot even talk to somebody that does not have a life. Do you know how many advances I get on a daily basis?
Okay, Bibs. I wanted to ask you that question, right? I wanted to ask you that question. Wait a minute. So let me ask you that question. I said, you're looking very beautiful, very smashing and everything. So are you in any relationship? Now, if you don't want to answer that question, you don't have to answer. Do you have any?
Okay, I'll say like this. Thank you anyway. But like I tell people, the Lord's will shall be done. I've been independent for a very long time. And you need to see, like I told you that I wrote what I wanted down. I've written 31 qualities I want in a man.
31 qualities.
31. You understand? And I will never, me Abimbola, will never settle for less. I have a lot of advances.
So wait first, because this is the one that people want to know. So now, you with your 4 children. So you have more co-stars and people that are not yet married. And they say they are not married.
All those that are not yet married, they are 419. They want to come and they are looking for sugar money. Do you understand? I'm talking of, and I've said it that me, no to married men. I know they do married man. You understand? It's either you are divorced or you are widowed, most likely. Anyway, I have a lot of advances everywhere.
No, what I'm trying to, people, wait there, cool down your temperature. What I want to know, my friend, forget some people they listen to us. Now be a you down. So you down, a lot of girls they will never marry. They look for man, but you were about 4 children.
4 children. If I go, like I go to the gym, and I do golf. I go for golf.
Yes, I do.
In fact, somebody just, as I'm talking to you, somebody just sent me a message now that I'm reading on my header that is telling me that he saw me at the golf section yesterday, and I was going to play blah 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 blah. I said, okay. He said, me, I did not call him. As in, hello, what's my own now? Because I have plenty toasters.
You have a lot of toasters. If it's only toasters and not there,
you see this ring that I put here, I will tell them I am married. If not be say I tell them say I am married, they won't allow me to rest. It's very irritating. I'm telling you. I have toasters though.
You have toasters.
Okay. It's like you're freezing up.
Am I?
Yes.
But everything is okay. Everything is okay.
Okay.
Now, Beans, I want to ask you another question, right? And the question I want to ask you is that, nobody knows life can throw anything at anybody at any time. So we have women that their husbands are with them and all of that. So Beams, what do you think that women should do or men should do? Because, you know, in this world that we live in, a lot of our men don't write wills. What are the things, you know, there's a lot of, you know, when somebody dies, a spouse dies, you know, they will have to go to the bank, we have to do this, how do they call it again, indemnity and all those kind of stuff. So I want to ask you, so how do we women prepare? Nobody's praying for, like, you know, bad thing to happen, anything like that. But how do we prepare for that kind of thing? What are the steps that we should take in case?
My dear, can I be sincere with you?
Yeah, I do.
There's nothing like preparation.
Okay.
Because are you going to tell an African man to write a will? Do you know the response? You can't. You understand? My own is that have your own thing going for you.
Okay.
You can't, what do you want to tell the man? The man should write your name in his will, I mean, properties. If he wants, he should write. If he wants, he should not write. You understand?
Yeah.
So when you get to that bridge, you cross it. You can't prepare anybody for anything.
Wow, Beams, this has been a very, very insightful evening. I will just take this another. Shola says, men, I guess, prefer successful women. I'm talking about how you have a lot of razzlers. So they always chase after ladies. Men don't like liability and they're stingy anyways. If they can get away with taking on responsibility, they will. So ladies, work hard. You can never be prepared. And Folashade Ajayi says, God bless you and your children. You're a strong woman, and I just love your courage. And Messi asks a question. Says, how did you access your husband's properties, if any?
Yes. I would say I got lucky to the extent that, you know, he put me as his next of kin. Okay. But my name wasn't on any, I won't lie to you, my name wasn't on any property or anything. And I wasn't bothered, you understand? Even like a few months before his death, he took me, because he told me that when he would have been 60 when I was 50 last year. Okay. And he took me to a piece of land on the island and he told me this is going to be a retirement. He was telling me that he wanted to take me somewhere. So I wasn't that keen. And he told me that, you better come, but this one that I want to put your name there now. Sure, you have complained that I don't put your name in anything. This one I'm putting your name, you don't want to, you understand? So what I did was, I got a good lawyer to file. Thank God that he didn't have any other wife or any other kids outside. You understand? It would have been very, very difficult. Probably will still be in court or so. So we just got a good lawyer to file in the probate and this and that. And I have all the letter of administration of all his properties.
Okay, that's very good. So guys, yeah, Bimbo, thank you so much. But 1 second. So guys, thank you very much for joining. And if you have any questions or any contributions, please don't hesitate to say. And I have someone from someone. She says here, Nkechi, she says, with the benefit of hindsight, is there anything you should have done to make things better if you had known he would die?
Like what?
I don't know.
Make things better. Like we have said it, you don't prepare for things like this now. Yeah. If it comes, it comes. Okay. September 1 is my mom's birthday. I can't forget that date. He was still in the mortuary, and the bank manager called me to the office. I got to Apapa. There was a lot of traffic, and I even had to enter Marwa, this keke, to the bank. And they sat me down and told me that he had already borrowed money with the house. And they actually gave me 1 month to pay up the loan. This is something that just very close people know about. In fact, in front of me, they were talking about the property they were going to sell. The property that worth 100 million, they were going to sell for 25 million. I had that and I said, do I want that for myself? They gave me September 30th.
I mean, he had died a month earlier.
A month earlier. And he had a loan. And they gave me September 30th to pay the loan. Mommy, I paid that loan. I paid that loan. But the only thing they did was they didn't collect interest.
Okay. They didn't collect interest.
Because you know it's the interest that kills.
Yeah, it's the interest that kills, yeah.
I paid that. I got back home. I showed my mom that letter. In fact, kudos to my mom, my greatest supporter. Honestly.
Okay.
I paid that loan.
Okay, Beams, let me take this contributions from Facebook. Basi says, as you keep saying these things, we have observed from women. As we keep saying these things, we have observed from women. We need to change the narrative. It's time for each one of us to be better, to do better, because we know better. We should be deliberate and, you know, we should be deliberate to choose to uplift other women we come across. I challenge myself to be a different woman. And someone else says, how do you handle your toasters? And another one says, I believe women, one second, love. I believe women should be empowered as their marriages grow, especially in our society where even the law is ignored. Women should also insist to be put as next of kin, as it may be important for them moving forward. Beams, I want to ask a question, and this question I want to ask you is entirely up to you. If you want to answer it, fine. If you don't want to answer it, it's okay. You were a trophy wife and your husband didn't let you do anything. Do you think that if your husband was still alive, do you think that you would have been able to be where you are today?
For where? Hey, you don't know that. I'm sorry to all the men in the household, but you have a way of suppressing women, Sha. You don't want women to do anything because you feel that because now I'm in the world. You see, somebody asked you that, how do I handle toasters? Yes. If I was in my husband's house, would I have toasters?
No.
The 90% is that I won't even have toasters. But now, most women that go out there to work and everything, they have toasters. Some people even have boyfriends. Sorry to say, but it's the reality. So I don't think he would have allowed me to do anything. In fact, I'll be telling him to do something. He won't answer me.
So, benefit of hindsight, then you would say that, just like how someone has said that you should be able to be, even if he doesn't want you to do something. But you always had your own gig. You had your shop.
Of course, I had my shop. I had everything. You know, at times my husband will come and tell me, "You're not going there today again."
Why? Why?
I don't want my wife to suffer. You're not going. If there's any small traffic, you are not even doing anything again. Stay in the house. Someone that didn't want me to enter the kitchen. Someone asked my mom. My husband will tell me that on his way, he will branch market to buy things. I will say, what is this now? As in, he didn't want me to do anything. When he died, that reminds me, when he died, I saw one guy. He's a politician. I saw him at a party. He said, do you know what? That your husband had come to warn me that I shouldn't greet you again. That I'm always greeting you. Don't greet my wife again.
No, but is it in dream or is it in real life?
Real life. I said, the guy had an office near my shop on Adenu Ogusoya. So the guy, you know, politician, jovial and everything. And that was just it. That your husband warned me never to greet you again. Why are you greeting my wife? So he was this very possessive human being.
Okay, so I want to take this contribution by Mercy Adu. She says, she's a lawyer. She says, whether you're next of kin or not, if you have your marriage certificate, if you're legally married to the man till the date of death, you can go for letters of administration and be in control of his assets.
That's
so
what
because
we did.
very good. So that's
what we did.
Yeah.
We went to a lawyer, we filled forms, they had to apply for probate, because he died intestate, that means he died without a will. They took 10% of everything, 10% of the money in the bank, 10% of the property. And had to pay legal fees again. So for me to get the letter of administration, if I got to a stage, because it was my dad that introduced me to that son, he's a son. I told my dad that I didn't want to do again. Because it was gulping a lot of money. I have a friend that the husband died last month. Do you understand? And she told me that they are doing not 10% of the loan, 10% of his assets.
So if you didn't have a will, right?
He didn't have a will.
10% of the money in the account.
10% of whatever belongs to him. The money, the property. The people even came from the high courts in Lagos to come and value this land, to come and value the house, rather. They measured it, length and breadth. I'm telling you. A friend of mine just told me now that they told him he had to come and pay 29 million. That the court is taking it out of the husband's bank. That's what they do. 10%.
What? Wow. And someone is saying now, Shola is asking now, Shola is saying now, I think they're asking for 25%.
You see, I said a friend of mine that the husband died February, said that the bank the court just took 29 million out of the husband's account.
Just like that?
Yes, now, because they will tell you that owo okulo lawon in Lagos, meaning that na dead body money that they talk. They told me.
So even when you were sad and mourning, they refused to understand that.
Not today. They are used to it, it's their job, and that's where they make their money.
Wow.
Then they will now put your name in the newspaper for 1 month. That's if you know this person wants to claim the property, if you know, and if you have any objection, send them a message or call this number. Come and see me and my mama the fast. Say God no go allow all these worry people, and I worry newspaper they can't put them. Hey, God don't allow these people see this thing, because they go pull trouble.
Wow. Beams, I'll just take this. I mean, a lot of people are really responding. This is so interesting. So Peace says, that was exactly how our village people were expecting my uncle's wife to look when my uncle died. But my father never let it happen till date. Never let it happen till date. She never looked like she lost her husband, including my cousins. They were all well looked after, yet they kept rubbing it in her face that no matter how she appeared, we must understand that she is a widow. People can be wicked, especially when it comes to a women's predicament. The narrative has to change. And somebody, Busari Dawood says, thanks Enebi for bringing this up. The narrative, have to change, and the conversation should be sustained. And Shola says, these are parts of the things men and parents should be aware of. Inheritance tax need to be part one way or the other. They don't want our loved ones to suffer. And Nkechi says, babes, I have to go now. I have to take the children back to school. So, babes, this has been a very, 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 very insightful hour. I mean, almost 1.5 hours have gone, and we have learned so much, Bimbo. And I want to say thank you so much for really being part of this. And you haven't lost your spirit at all. You've been the way you are, that kind of way. And I'm so happy. So I want to listen, I can't name everyone that is here, but all I want to say is thank you to everyone who made it. And of course, thank you, my special guest, Abimbola. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Buki. Thank you, Aderonke. Thank you, Chidiogo. Thank you, and Chizoba. Thank you, Felicia. Uncle Femi, thank you. Folashade Ajayi, thank you. Oh, my big sister is here. Auntie, thank you so much. Your customer. Nkechi, thank you. Olabisi, Olabode, thank you. Princess Bonale, thank you. Rita, Adegrito. Yeah, thank you. Let me see. Shola, thanks. Shola has been,
thank you,
Shola has been so, proactive. And Payo Onifade, thank you. Theodora Azinge, thank you. Yemi Awofolaju, thank you. This might something no come on. Wait, oh, hey, 1 second. Anyways, on the internet, I have quite a few as well. I have Guts, I have Peace, I have Polsheri, I have so many people. I just want to say IB White, Azeta, Ayaba, Adonye, Gnosi Management, Mary, and quite a few others. I just want to say thank you very much for joining, and I really, really, really appreciate you. Beams, we've learned a lot today, and I thank you that you haven't allowed your spirit to die. And so you go, girl. We're going to talk on the other side of the camera. So bye, everybody, and thank you for watching. And don't forget to please like my page on Facebook. Is Ibinabo Enebi. You like and follow me on Instagram.
Thank you,
my
everybody.
Instagram page is Ibinabo Enebi, and you can also check me out on Facebook as well. And I have a website called goshopforbaby.com, and I have an article by a young man called Collins Omerwa, who also talks very highly of his widowed mother. So Chidiogo says you're a strong woman. Shola says nice one. And bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you.